Hey guys, what's up? It's me, Ida. Welcome back to my channel. I missed you guys so much. I feel like it's been forever since I recorded a video and I'm excited for this video. This video is actually all about ingredients that low porosity hair really loves. Okay, so let's get straight into it. Low porosity hair loves moisturizing ingredients. The first thing that is the most moisturizing ingredient is actually water. Water is able to penetrate low porosity hair very well and it hydrates your hair. However, water alone is not going to moisturize your hair enough because it quickly enters in your hair strands, but then it also quickly leaves. And that's why you have to look into other moisturizing ingredients to keep your hair hydrated and retain that moisture. So one of my favorite moisturizing ingredient for low porosity hair is humectants. I absolutely love humectants so much. Humectants are ingredients that actually absorb the moisture around the surrounding air and actually bring it into your hair. So it keeps your hair hydrated and moisturized. So there's actually different types of humectants. I'm gonna actually list them all here. These are the most common humectants, but there are some that are actually a bit more effective than other humectants. Vegetable glycerin is actually one of my favorite humectants. It really makes my hair feel really hydrated and moisturized. Some people, when they actually use humectants, they do have to kind of consider the weather and the dew points because sometimes it does affect your hair. If you're using humectants in your hair when the humidity is really high, then sometimes it can work against you and the humectants are going to absorb way too much moisture out of the humidity in the air and actually bring it into your hair and making your hair really frizzy. And also vice versa, if you're actually in an environment where the air is really dry, sometimes that can also work against you as well, because sometimes people have to have the ideal temperature outside just to be able to actually use humectants in their regimen. And so you kind of want to play around with that to see how much humectants are in your products, how humid it is outside. But however, with my hair, it actually doesn't matter what the temperature is outside and how humid it is outside. Other moisturizing ingredients also found in hair products are actually called long chain fatty alcohols, and their purpose is to make your hair feel soft and give you some slip to help you with detangling, and they also make the hair products a bit thicker as well. So I'm going to put up a list of common fatty alcohols found in your hair products. So you want to keep in mind when it comes to alcohols that not all alcohols are drying for your hair. Some other moisturizing conditioning ingredients include cationic surfactants, and so I'm going to put up a list right here of the most common ones. And so these are also going to make your hair feel really soft and moisturized and give it some shine and some slip and detangling properties as well. So not all conditioning ingredients are actually going to be created equal. Some are actually going to just kind of sit on top of your hair strands and just kind of coat it and give it that slip and help your hair detangle and feel soft. And some are actually going to absorb into your hair strands and actually make your hair feel hydrated and really moisturized. It all depends on the molecular weight of the conditioning ingredient. So the lower the molecular weight, the smaller the chain, the easier your hair is going to actually absorb that conditioning ingredient. I find that the smaller conditioning ingredients are actually able to actually penetrate and absorb into my hair strands, making my hair feel a lot softer. And I noticed that a lot of leave-in conditioners actually have more of this. So anything that is actually meant to be rinsed out of your hair, like rinse out conditioners and deep conditioners, they're gonna have actually more ingredients that will leave a coating on your hair for more slip and detangling purposes, rather than conditioners that are actually supposed to be left in your hair like leave-in conditioners. Okay, so I'm gonna actually leave some tips for you guys that have worked very well for me when it comes to moisturizing your low porosity hair, and I do have more detailed videos on this, so I'm actually just going to quickly leave some quick tips on here for you guys to quickly read. But if you want a more detailed video on that, I'm going to leave those videos in the description box below. Okay, so next ingredients are ingredients with higher pH levels. So the pH level of our hair is usually around 4.5 to 5.5, and usually a lot of hair products come to that pH level because it actually helps close your cuticle layers and basically helps retain that moisture. But because with low porosity hair, our cuticles don't really need too much help with closing because they're actually already closed. They actually need help kind of raising the cuticles a little bit and lift it so that we can actually absorb product into it. Products with higher pH levels, sometimes alkaline or sometimes, around neutral or even around 6, usually help with absorbing products into our low porosity hair. So I'm going to put up a list of alkaline solutions that work really well with low porosity hair, but you also want to be careful. They are lifting your cuticles and You don't want it to lift too much or too often because you can be at risk for damaging your hair, and you want to make sure that you're always closing your cuticles after you use these alkaline solutions. So you want to use either apple cider vinegar or aloe vera juice, or just like a conditioner with a lower pH level. And sometimes these alkaline solutions can be drying depending on it, like what you're mixing it with. So you also want to make sure that you're using some sort of moisturizing deep conditioner or conditioner after the treatment, just to make sure you have a proper moisture balance into your hair. So clay masks like bentonite clay, Rosal clay, the Lola treatment because it has baking soda in it, and even like black African soap and Castile soap, those ones actually have a higher pH level. You also want to really be careful with baking soda because although it can work really well with low porosity hair, you want to make sure that you're not going to damage your hair in the long run. When I actually use it with the Lola treatment, I really do like the way my hair feels. It's a really nice light protein treatment that really absorbs into my hair, and you're mixing it with other moisturizing ingredients, so it's actually not as harsh as using baking soda by itself with like water, because the pH level is pretty high. So if you're not really sure what your pH level is for your products, you can always buy pH strips, and you can actually test your products and see kind of what level they're at. There's other ways to actually absorb products in your hair, and that is through heat. And so sometimes I find that that's actually better than using something that has a higher pH level. Okay, so next up are gentle and mild cleansing ingredients for low porosity hair. I'm gonna put up a list of some common gentle, mild cleansing ingredients that I really like and work really well with my hair. They're able to cleanse your hair and get rid of product buildup without stripping your hair so much and taking away all its natural oils. And I'm gonna also put up a list of my favorite cleansing conditioners, shampoos, and clay masks. And I actually haven't tried this black African soap yet, which is the Dudu Osun African black soap. I'm not sure if I'm saying it right, but a lot of people have raved about this one, and I actually want to try it next. I noticed for me, cleansing conditioners, there's only a few that I like, because a lot of the cleansing conditioners I find kind of just act like regular rinse-out conditioners, where they don't really cleanse my hair and they just kind of sit on top of my hair and cause product buildup. When it comes to low porosity hair, you do have to make sure that you are cleansing your hair so that you can remove product buildup, because our hair does get product buildup a lot more easier compared to high porosity hair. But you don't want to also strip your hair and make it so dry. So you definitely have to be very picky and choosy with what hair cleansers you're gonna actually use. So that's why you see a lot of people with natural hair kind of avoid cleansers that have sulfates in them, because they are more harsh and they're actually really good at cleansing your hair, a little too good. So they strip out all the natural oils, leaving your hair feeling really stripped and really dry. But you definitely want to play around with your hair. Your hair still might like sulfates once in a while. For me, I also noticed that when you have coarse textured low porosity hair, you definitely have to stay away from stripping cleansing ingredients, because with coarse textured hair, your hair is going to be a lot more dry than someone with fine textured hair. So I'm going to leave some tips here for cleansing your hair. So please keep in mind that these tips work for me. I just want to kind of share what works for me, just in case it might actually help you out as well. But I am going to do a more detailed video on my actual wash day routine. Okay, so next up is proteins. So when we talk about low porosity hair, this is not always the case, but sometimes low porosity hair have protein sensitive hair, and I do have a lot of videos based on protein sensitivity, and I will leave that in the description box below. So because our hair is made up of mostly proteins, we still do need to incorporate proteins into our hair, but when it comes to low porosity hair, we have to be very careful with what types of proteins we're going to put in our hair and how often we're going to actually use the protein. So you may have noticed that a lot of the hair products out there have protein in it, so it's very hard sometimes to kind of find protein-free products or to find products that have the proteins that your hair likes. So a lot of times these products have larger size proteins that are just going to sit on top of low porosity hair and have like that film, causing your hair to feel really hard and brittle. And so you want to focus on smaller proteins that are actually going to absorb and penetrate into low porosity hair. And then you also want to play around to see how much proteins your hair likes and how often you're going to incorporate proteins into your hair. So I'm going to put up a quick list on smaller size proteins that my hair actually likes, and there are some other ones as well, but these are the most common ones that I've noticed that people with low porosity hair actually can tolerate. So not only do proteins actually help strengthen your hair and give that proper protein moisture balance that your hair needs to prevent hair breakage, it also helps your hair retain moisture. And so when you have low porosity hair, you have to also find out what type of texture your hair is as well, because that actually makes a big difference on proteins. So if you have fine texture low porosity hair or medium texture low porosity hair, you are going to need to incorporate proteins a lot more often than someone that has coarse textured hair, because with coarse textured hair, you do have more proteins than someone with fine texture hair. The strands of your hair are more thick because it has all the cuticle layers compared to someone that has thin hair strands like fine texture or medium texture. So I'm going to put up a list of proteins that are found in hair products, and these are just to name a few, but there actually are so many. And so because everyone's hair is different, your hair might like more proteins than my hair or someone else that has similar hair characteristics, so you definitely want to play around with it. And this also goes for homemade DIY protein treatments like avocado, mayonnaise, eggs. Those ones are going to be a bit more bigger in molecular size, so they're going to actually just sit on top of your hair. But if you actually mix it in with other conditioning ingredients that will absorb into your hair, it actually can really benefit your hair, because sometimes it is nice to have like a small slight layer on top of your hair to retain that moisture. But I do prefer the ones that actually penetrate into my hair a lot more, which is found more in commercial hair products. So I'm going to put up a list here of my favorite light protein treatments, and basically I usually use them once every second month. Sometimes once every third month, but then I notice that I'll put a bit more on my bangs and the sides of my hair. So I usually do that maybe once a month. Because my hair is fine to medium texture in the front and coarse in the back, I notice that I need more protein in these areas. So you definitely have to treat different areas of your hair differently if you do have different textures throughout your hair. So I'm going to put up a couple of tips here for proteins and low porosity hair, and I do have some more detailed videos on this, so definitely go ahead and check that out. And again, these are tips that have worked very well for me, and they might not necessarily always work for someone else, but just want to share them just in case they will actually help somebody else. Okay, so next up is light to medium oils. And so when it comes to low porosity hair, basically the theme here is that you don't want to put anything too heavy that has a hard time absorbing into your hair, because you're gonna have usually some sort of like oil residue or product buildup. So when it comes to oils have a really hard time absorbing into the hair. So for me, what I've noticed is that light to medium oils actually work a lot better than heavier oils, because heavy oils, for me, it just kind of sits on top of my hair, but then it also prevents me from absorbing other products into my hair, because the oil residue just kind of sits on there and it never absorbs into my hair at all. And I'm not able to like re-moisturize my hair. Even water will basically just sit on top of the oil, and that's not good, because oil is not a moisturizer, it's a sealant, and so you don't want to prevent your hair from absorbing any more moisture. So I'm going to put up a list here of my favorite light to medium oils that I like to use for my hair, and my top favorite for me would have to be sweet almond oil, because I notice it's kind of like in the middle. It's not like super light, but it's not heavy at all. I love that it's affordable. It's not as expensive as like argan oil or jojoba oil. It doesn't give me any oil residue, and it really does help really retain that moisture in my hair. And when it comes to coconut oil, the thing is that coconut oil actually penetrates into your hair a lot better than any other oil. However, someone with coarse textured hair is not gonna really like coconut oil, because coconut oil has an affinity for proteins, and so it's gonna strengthen your hair, and also it does solidify at a certain temperature, making your hair feel hard. So you definitely wanna stay away from coconut oil if you have coarse textured hair. But someone that has fine to medium textured hair, they're gonna actually like coconut oil, because coconut oil is gonna be able to penetrate into their low porosity hair, making their fine to medium texture feel a lot stronger. So I'm gonna also put up a list here of some tips that have helped me with oil, but I also do have a very specific detailed informational video all about oils and low porosity hair if you guys want to go check that out. Okay, so next up is light to medium hair butters / creams. For me, in the beginning of my hair journey, it was just so complicated, because as soon as someone saw my hair, they would say, oh, you need a heavy butter and a heavy cream because your hair is thick, or your hair is type 4, or your hair is coarse in texture. And so I would just do it. And I noticed that it never penetrated my hair. It just always sat on top of it. It just always gave me like these white flakes no matter what I did. And I just like couldn't put 2 and 2 together. And then I finally realized, okay, wow, I have low porosity hair, and I can't really be using such heavy products on my hair, especially if you're combining it with other products, and it's just gonna be way too much layers, just way too much product. And so I realized on my hair journey, just because you have type 4 hair or coarse textured hair or high density hair doesn't mean you need a heavy or thick butter or cream in your hair. And I think it's because a lot of people just don't know their hair type or how important it is to know your hair type so that you can actually incorporate a hair care regimen that's tailored to your own hair. If you do have low porosity hair, you still might benefit from really heavy creams and butters, because I do know some people actually still like them. My hair really hates heavy products. So I'm gonna put up a list of my favorite butters and creams for my hair, and I find them to be like amazing texture. They're able to moisturize your hair but also seal in the leave-in conditioner very well without giving any product buildup or any flakes. And because I mentioned earlier that I have fine to medium textured hair in the front, actually I wouldn't say fine, I would say medium, and then coarse in the back, I noticed that I actually have to be more light-handed with my products in the front of my hair and the sides, because I usually will get white flakes at the front a lot more easier than the back, because with fine to medium textured hair, your hair will get weighed down a lot easier. Okay, so last but not least, hair styling gels. So for me, I actually love gels so much because I find that for me, gel is the best sealant for low porosity hair. Hair styling gels are actually able to form a film on top of your hair to help retain moisture, and I feel like they're able to trap in that water and moisture in your hair a lot longer and just a lot better than any other sealant I've noticed. And so for me, I love wash and goes because I feel like my hair just stays hydrated a lot better and a lot longer than when I do like twist outs and braid outs without gel. So I'm gonna put up a list of film forming sealants that have really helped my hair seal in that moisture. Because my hair is medium density and it's coarse in texture, well, the majority of my hair is coarse in texture, I like to use like a more thick gel or maximum hold gel, because I noticed like the ones that are really light, they don't really work well with my hair. But if you have a finer texture or lower density hair, there are other gels that are better suited for you, which I'm gonna also add in the list for you guys. So I'm gonna also put up some quick tips here on the use of gel and film forming sealants. And also, if you guys haven't seen my video on ingredients to avoid for low porosity, I definitely highly recommend you guys watch that video as well, because not only is it important to focus on ingredients that your hair loves for low porosity hair, it's definitely also as equally important to actually avoid certain products that are not good for low porosity hair as well. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I hope it was helpful. If you guys have any questions, of course, feel free to leave the comments below, and check out the description box for a lot more informational videos and related videos. And if you guys like this video, please go ahead and subscribe and like and share this video with whoever has low porosity or protein sensitive hair. And if you guys have your own tips, please also share them in the comments below. And I thank you guys so much for watching, and have yourselves a wonderful day, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.